it on my computer. I recorded it last time so that I can see how my voice comes through. I didn't like my own voice, but then people typically don't like their own voices. So hopefully it all comes through well on your side. Anybody having any issues? I believe we have 15 students logged in right now. Anybody having any issues as we speak? You know, most of the students have been in ATA for a while. It would be nice if you can turn on your videos and things like that. I'm not going to force it or anything, but it would be really nice, especially at the time of invited speakers coming over, okay? I don't know whether I am showing my face right now or not. Are you able to see my face and video even if I am sharing the screen? Anybody?
Yes.
So you're able to see both my camera and the screen. That's good. So it's always a good idea, okay? And yesterday, you know, we have had only one class so far, right? Last Wednesday. So it has been almost 5 days now. The thing is, I realized some students may just turn on the video and log in and they just disappear. I don't know if it is true or not. I don't want that to happen. Nobody likes it to happen. So just be aware that I don't like it. And I have been thinking about getting people attendance. You know, that's an important thing as well. So I want to do that. Because of that, maybe we should start with the attendance. So most of you have signed up for Top Hat, right? Have you signed up for Top Hat?
Yep.
Okay. Anybody having issues with Top Hat? Because I'm going to, it says everybody enrolled in this particular course. There is a student by last name Shehy, S-H-E-H-Y. Is that person here right now? Yes, no? Okay. I sent an invite to that student also, but I don't see that. So what I'm planning to do is I'm just going to go to Top Hat and I'm going to start attendance. So please go ahead. Let us try attendance today. I tried it with my sales class and it worked out fine. And I want to do that here as well so that I will be able to keep track of who is attending or not. And down the road, I will be, where are we? Okay, so let me share the screen. So you should be seeing this attendance code right now. So if you go to your Top Hat app, you should be able to see, you should be able to do something. I have never done it myself as a student, so I will leave it to you on that. Anybody having trouble? We have 10 out of 21 students submitting the answers, I believe, so far, which is good. Any student having any issues? I believe we are at 18 students right now. Is good. Oops, somebody left, so 17. You know, they can get kicked in and out, so that can be an issue. So just keep track of it, and I will be asking questions. Okay, I will be showing you some videos, and we will discuss different topics, and I will be asking questions throughout. And so that I can engage students at a distance. That's the whole idea behind that. So please do give attendance. And this is the list of attendees names that I have right now. I don't know whether you can see that on your screens. Are you able to see the list of participants or not? What are you seeing on your screens right now?
Just the code for the attendance to put in.
And you don't see the list of participants on to the side of it, right? You don't?
No, correct.
Yeah, I think the Zoom features don't show up, only the screen shows up, which is fine. I just wanted to verify the user experience on your side. Anyways, we are spending too much time on that, and I'm just going to keep it open. We have only 13 students registering, but there are 18 students in the class. So anybody having trouble with using Top Hat? Anybody having trouble? Given the distance, I have to give a little more time. So if not, it's okay. You can always go to Top Hat and you can fill out your code, okay? So anyways, let us get started for the day. Oops, I'm getting started and somebody is calling me on the phone. I did not plan on that, so let me mute it. Strangely today, quite a few phone calls in the morning. Anyways, as I mentioned, we will always meet in this particular link, and you guys should be familiar with it by now. This is the second time you are using it. And I am recording this video for future reference. I uploaded into YouTube, and some people may have some concerns whether they can, whether that their voice or their words or their faces are being recorded like that. I'll be honest with you, I am very protective of my personal things, and I don't want anybody to be affected by that. So I will surely make sure that it will not be misused in any ways. If at all I may post some of the speaker videos on YouTube and share it with the students who are unable to attend. That's the only thing I might do, and also some of these lectures, but all of them will be kept unlisted. Okay, that means people who don't have the link cannot watch it. That's what I'm doing. But if you have any issues, please let me know with regard to these recordings and whether you are doing something, whether it is okay or not. So that is with regard to attendance. So that is the recording, and we also did Top Hat. So we are done with 2. That's so great. So now we are moving forward to the actual thing that we are here to discuss, which is supply chains. Okay. So let us go ahead, get started with a supply chain video. How many of you would like to watch a video today on a Monday morning or afternoon? Any takers for the videos? Shall we start with the video? Everybody is muted except Matt. So Matt, shall we start with the video? What do you think? Matt?
Sure, why not?
Okay, so here is one video that I found online. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this into the screen, and hopefully the audio comes through. Okay, so that is what I am trying to do. Let me just unmute it, go back and start playing it from the beginning. So what are supply chains?
At Gordon Food Service, we understand that delivering the right products at the right time is an important part of a successful partnership. With over 100 years of experience working with customers both big and small, we have developed and fostered a culture of accuracy and flexibility. It starts in our distribution centers, where systems and technologies are integrated across the entire network. These systems were designed by us, with you in mind. Whether it is stringent inbound safety processes or cold chain accountability from the field to your back door, you can feel confident in the quality and consistency of each order placed. Our team members are measured for speed, accuracy, and quality, and are rewarded based on these measures. We are proud of the number of long-term employees who are part of the Gordon Food Service team. Accountability extends well beyond the walls of the warehouses. Gordon Food Service's professional, friendly sales service representatives also have a strong attention to detail. Our well-maintained fleet utilizes multiple temperature zones to minimize the number of deliveries and help create consistent delivery times. We believe that the relationship you have with your sales service representative is vital to a successful partnership. For this reason, we utilize standard routes whenever possible. Having the same driver delivering at a consistent day and time helps us to truly collaborate with you and anticipate your needs before you know you have them. Along with instant credits for errors and optional delivery time windows, Gordon Food Service utilizes technology to help you spend less time worrying about deliveries and more time focusing on your business. At Gordon Food Service, we are always looking at new distribution innovations that keep you moving forward. These methods continue to evolve, while our emphasis on quality and accuracy remains steadfast. Helping you run your operation with confidence is what it's all about.
Okay, so here we are. So were you guys able to, oops, there was a lot of chat messages. I don't know where to look for the chat. Chat kind of gets hidden somewhere. Alternate H. It's not this one. Are you able to hear the, okay. What is the attendance code? Wasn't it? Okay, somebody is asking attendance code and all. That's fine. So are you able to see the, were you able to see the video and hear the audio as well?
Yes.
Okay, was it okay? Are you able to manage with the amount of audio that came through?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. So now is the time, okay? I am not the only one that's going to be talking today, okay? I want everybody to be chiming in once in a while. So maybe everybody should unmute yourself and tell me what are the things that caught your attention over there. So tell me what are the things that caught your attention in this Gordon Food Service. Now we are in a food supply chains course, so I thought it would be very appropriate for us to talk about a food video, and then this thing came up on my YouTube feed. Then I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to use this. So Megan, I can see your mic unmuted. So what did you notice in that video clip? What are the things that kind of caught your attention?
Their emphasis on organization and consistency.
Very good. Organization and consistency. Do you think as a if you're operating a supply chain that you have to pay attention to how consistently you deliver your product to the customers?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And organization, what do you mean by that?
Organization, so they kept track of what drivers took specific routes and kept those drivers on their routes so they could build that relationship with the people that they were working for and delivering to.
Exactly. And that relationship, how the team members are being paid. Did the video talk about that?
I didn't catch that part specifically. No.
That's okay. They are rewarding their team members on the accuracy, speed, quality, and the ability to develop relationships. So these things are all very important when it comes to maintaining your supply chain. That's one important thing. So I just noted down Megan gets bonus points today for talking, okay, and sharing her views on that. Anybody else? I will be noting the participation to make sure that everybody kind of contributes well. What else? Who else can say a few words about what the video that you just watched? What are the other things that were emphasized as part of that video clip?
I noticed that they said a lot, or they mentioned attention to detail a couple times.
Okay, Matt just mentioned that they pay attention to detail. Is that what you mentioned? Matt? Yeah. Hello? Do you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So attention to detail, that's a good thing, which is a part of the organization as well. Now, I want to mention, the video also talked about different temperature zones. Do you think that is an important thing when you are involved in a food supply chain? What do you think?
I think that it's very important, especially if you have a whole bunch of like food from Gordon. If you're like taking it to a school or something, then you have to make sure that like the temperatures are always the same, or else like the food will spoil.
Exactly, the same routes, the consistency. And when you are dealing with food, food is a very highly perishable product. So that is something that you have to pay attention to. So the food supply chains where you are dealing with something that can get old, in less than a day, those supply chains will be very different from that of, say, some other type of supply chains. And that brings us to our video number 2. How many of you are willing to watch one more video? Which is a different type of video with different type of supply chain, and that is ADM, okay? Have you heard of the company ADM? It's a really big company, okay? Maybe you should also kind of, this is the time you should go to their websites and take a look at that. And for some reason, my internet is not working. Okay, now after 4 or 5 clicks, it works. This is the time you have to pay attention to all these big agricultural companies that we are interested in, okay? So we talked about food supply chains from a Gordon perspective, and here is your another big company, okay? It's not just the other or anything like that. There are lots of companies in the food area. So let us watch this. Unfortunately, there is no subtitles for this, so hopefully the audio comes through. So let's watch it. It's a little long, and after this, we are going to have a little top hat quiz. So maybe you should take out a pen and paper and note down a few important things to answer a few questions, okay? So let's watch it. It's about 5 minutes long, and hopefully it comes through. If you are having any issues, please let me know through chat box so that I will keep track of it, okay? In case if you have any issues listening or watching the video or anything like that. Thank you. Let's watch the video clip.
Archer Daniels Midland Company has a vast network of grain elevators, processing plants, terminals, and export and distribution centers throughout the world. ADM's asset footprint is linked by a complex and robust global transportation network, which spans road, rail, river, and sea, all working to drive value from origin to destination markets. It all starts on the farm, when ADM trucking picks up crops for delivery to an ADM customer, elevator, processing plant, or river terminal. From there, the crops can be processed or moved further through the transportation network. Every year in North America, ADM trucking travels more than 75 million miles, delivering crops to places that need them most. North America has over 170,000 miles of railroad tracks. ADM operates one of the largest independent fleets of private rail cars, moving an average of 89 million tons of goods every year, destined for ADM customers, elevators, processing plants, and export markets. International intermodal containers are the standard for moving freight worldwide. Every year, ADM ships more than 160,000 containers internationally, utilizing trucks, rail, and vessels, many of which originate at the ADM intermodal ramp. The U.S. Inland Waterway System has more than 25,000 navigable miles. ARTCO, ADM's wholly owned subsidiary, is one of the largest covered barge companies in the United States. ARTCO takes full advantage of the waterway system by moving an average of 19 million tons of goods southbound and northbound every year, destined for domestic and global consumption. Stevedoring is the essential connection between barges and ocean-going vessels. hardco stevedoring 6 midstream cranes transfer goods between barges and ocean-going vessels in New Orleans, Louisiana. Ocean-going vessels move more than 50 million tons of goods per year. Harvest Shipping, ADM's wholly owned subsidiary, owns 10 ocean-going vessels and has another 150 chartered on any given day. Artco Terminal Services has more than a dozen locations strategically located throughout the waterway system. Every location is designed to meet the specific needs of domestic and import-export oriented customers, including transloading, terminaling, and warehousing. ADM's transportation network spans road, rail, river, and sea, creating the most flexible and capable agricultural supply chain around the globe. ADM's world-class network meets the highest standards for quality, safety, and reliability, allowing for a fast and efficient response to customer needs, whether the destination is across town or half a world away. ADM, world-class transportation capabilities, driving value from origin to destination.
Okay, so that was a little long, but still it had a lot of very useful content, especially for a supply chains course. Did everybody, were everybody able to hear what was being said? Okay. Okay, I don't know. A couple of people said yes, yes, and I don't know what it was for. So hopefully they were able to hear the audio well.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. So hopefully you were able to hear. So tell me, what are the things that caught your attention? So let us ask Andrew. Andrew.
That they move land, air, and sea, and just the sheer volume of how much product they move.
Very good. That's a really good observation. Actually, they move a lot of items, right? So that's an important thing that you have to pay attention to. What do you think? Now, the big difference between food is a highly processed or it's highly packaged and things like that. Whereas ADM is actually moving commodities. They are moving, mostly they were showing only, yellow corn, and you could see all that entire ships and barges. They were all fully filled with a lot of grains and things like that. So they really need space. They really need a lot of, really big containers, very good volume so that they can move it across different places. Now, what else did you notice in that video clip? Andrew?
How many, they said they had 10 seagoing vessels and also like 12 ports, I think.
Exactly. That means if you are going to be working in supply chain, okay, for a big company like ADM or a Cargill or, maybe a small company, you have to ask yourself, what are the type of equipment do I own on my own? And what are the things that I'm going to get from somebody else? For instance, yes, you can own your own trucks and fleet. Otherwise, you can very well go to Worcester Motorways. Have you heard of this company called WorcesterMotorways.com? Oops, it's not opening. Worcester Motorways. I took the students there just couple of years ago, actually. Worcester Motorways is another trucking company, and if I'm going to be selling number 2 yellow corn, I don't have to own it myself. I can very well contract with these people, and they have the right type of equipment to haul it, anywhere in the country that I would like them to do. But then I have to ask myself, what is the cost if I were to manage it myself by having a truck in my own property, like within my company, or do I want to go with somebody else? So that is a very important thing. Now, what other thing did you notice? Did the video talk about different types of transport?
Yeah, they talked about trains, boats, air, trucks.
Did they talk about air, really?
Or they just mentioned that it travels by land, sea, and air.
Did they mention air? I kind of missed, because do you see air here in these 4 or 5 pictures that you are seeing on your screen right now?
No.
No. Actually, for moving commodity items such as corn and soybeans, moving it by air is impossible, okay? It will make it super, super expensive. Yes, you can get the number 2 yellow corn to China or Europe or Brazil in less than 5 hours or 10 hours if you go by air. But then what is the cost of that grain for the person that is receiving it in China or Brazil or Europe? You have to ask yourself, because that can be very, very expensive. That means you have to pay attention to the different modes of transportation, and that is something that we will be talking about in this course, okay? They talked about the river barges, they talked about shipping, ship containers, and they also talked about rails and roads, but they did not talk a lot about aeroplanes. Whereas for a company like Amazon, what do you think? Will it be a big thing for them to use air shipments? What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yes, Amazon Prime Air. That is a company that Amazon has created for themselves, where they will be essentially moving the goods themselves because they want full control of the product. Now, Amazon, will they get the items through, say, ships and barges and things like that? Yes, but then they also they want overnight delivery. They are talking about same-day deliveries. They are talking about instant deliveries. For them, speed is important. And if you want to go for speed, then you have to think about having airplanes and other type of things as part of your delivery mechanisms as well. But then that's not the type of thing that they will be happy with. Have you heard of drone delivery by Amazon?
Yes.
Yes. So here is a short video clip. Okay, again, I'm going to be showing a bunch of videos, I think. I hope I don't bore anybody yet. But I'm going to get into the PowerPoint, which will be a little boring. So hopefully the videos are more interesting for you. Where is the video? Okay, here it is. Amazon's new drones can make deliveries in a half hour. Now, this can be a really big deal for a company like Amazon. So depending upon the company that you are working for, whether you are working for Gordon Food Service or an ADM or Amazon, I understand all of them are really big companies. So, you know, we talked about Stephanie's churros and food truck earlier. Now we have to ask ourselves, now how does that compare with a small business? So the supply chains for small business, big business, we have to think about all of them in the context of food and agriculture, okay? Because that is the major thing that we are talking about. And in the second video clip that we talked about for ADM, okay, they talked a lot about global issues. That means it's a global supply chain. We are living in a global world, right? So oftentimes the soybeans and other things that we are producing, you know who buys most of the soybeans that the US produces? Most likely it will be China and Canada, okay? We have a lot of trade relationships with Canada and Mexico because they are geographically closer. At the same time, China is a prominent producer of pork and other things, and they will be buying a lot of so if you go to the soy stats, and then if you click on the soybean export history, okay, or soybean exports by customer, okay, let's click on that. Okay, this is, okay, by customer, you can see who are all the major buyers of the US soybeans. And did I say China? I thought it was Canada, but it's actually Mexico. Do you guys see this thing on your screen right now?
Yes.
Yes. So that is very important. So if they are exporting about $3 billion worth of soybeans, oops, wait a minute, what is that? Oh, all others are 3 billion, sorry. 8 billion is going just to China. And then 1.8 billion is going to Mexico and Egypt and Japan. So these are the major trading partners. So when it comes to agricultural supply chains, we have to pay attention to even these kind of really, who are the customers and where are they and how much are they buying and what will happen because of, say, Trump's trade policies. Did you guys hear about the tariff that were imposed by President Trump like 2-3 years ago against China?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That means immediately this 8 billion that was being exported to China was not 8 billion anymore. It might have been 7 billion. You'll be thinking, oh, it's only 1 billion. Wait a minute. 1 billion is like 17% less than the previous year's export. That means that is the reason why the soybean prices have been fluctuating. Corn prices have been fluctuating. So let us go ahead and type corn price. Let us put trend. And you can see what happened to the corn prices over time. And hopefully there will be some pictures that I can quickly show you. So why am I showing all these things? Because if you are interested in supply chains, these are the type of things that you have to pay attention to. Okay, as you can see here, it was $1 or $2 per over time, okay, $2 to $3 for a long time. And then ethanol picked up significantly. At that time, you can see that the corn prices went all the way to $7 or $8 per bushel, and then the ethanol demand went down, and that means the prices kind of came to $3 to $4 range. And then when there was this from $4, it came down to $3, mainly because of the Trump's trade policies. So all of these things you guys have to pay attention to. Okay, so that is what I am trying to tell you. So this is the biggest change, during the Trump's trade policies. This is with regard to corn, and you have to pay attention to that for soybeans and pork and beef and quite a few other things. And talking about all these things, okay, the transport, the global nature, and whether you are owning the transport vehicles yourself, or are you going to outsource it? What type of vehicles are good? Do you want aeroplane or trucks, and how much will be moved, and whether they should be temperature controlled or not? And what else? What type of machinery you need? The strategic locations. That ADM video talked about a very interesting city, port. Can anybody recall that location?
Is that New Orleans?
Exactly. So New Orleans is called Big Easy or Big Apple? What is this one? What is that one? Anybody? I believe New Orleans is known as Big Easy, I think, for some reason. I have to go and read upon that cultural thing. The point is, you need to have right ports because you are transporting a lot of your agricultural supplies, okay? And supplies in the sense it could be grains or it could also be fertilizers. Now, if you're talking about fertilizers and other type of materials, they may be coming from Africa, they may be coming from, say, Mongolia or some other country, and how they are entering the country. So we have to think about all these different things, and that is what we will cover in this course. Make sense? It's a little long-winded explanation for what I am trying to teach in this particular course. So what do you guys think? Is this a good way for you to think about supply chains?
Yes, very.
Yeah, this is very important. Now, I understand that most of you will be working in small businesses after graduation, but many of you will actually be going to, and some of you will be actually applying for jobs, okay? Some of you will be going to Columbus campus, and who will come and hire in Columbus campus? It is big companies such as ADM, Cargill, and Kroger and Walmart. If you're talking about Kroger and Walmart, they are also dealing in food and agriculture, but that's a different type of agriculture. There, it is all highly, perishable items because they are dealing with customers, right? So you have to think about that, and you have to talk about the waste of food items because these are highly perishable, and we will be talking about that. And we will be talking about the risks. That is, what are the different types of risk? Right now, I am not in front of you mainly because of COVID, which is a big risk, right? So we will be talking about that. So these are all the type of things that are important for us that we have to pay attention to, okay? So having said that, this is probably like the middle of the classroom time. So I'm just going to go and ask a few questions with regard to oh, come on, what did I do? Okay, so go to Top Hat again. I'm going to ask a few questions based on what we saw in the ADM video, okay? Because I made a few questions on the ADM video. So let us go ahead and click on this one. Okay, so we already talked about that. So I am asking you a question right now. So go ahead, go to, are you able to see the question on Top Hat? Okay, yeah, I'm getting answers.
Yes.
Okay, so I have to, I mean, I'm still kind of figuring out how to easily go from one screen to another screen, and it is not working out fine yet. Okay, so you should be seeing this on your screens, and I have 17 out of 17 answered, and I don't know 2 other students whether they are there or not. So which of these transport methods is not a primary means of transportation for ADM? I'm just going to close it, and I have to figure out how to close it. So closed. Now let us look at the answers. So everybody got it right. I am really glad you guys are paying attention. Okay. Exactly. Yeah, it is not the primary means for them, but then it's not the same case for Amazon. Okay. For Amazon, it's an entirely different story. So the supply chains, the type of equipment and other things that you use can be very different depending upon the company that you are working with. And if it is a small company, then you have to be paying attention to that as well. So let me ask you another question, because I have been asking many questions. I have been writing up many questions. Okay, maybe I will ask you this question. What is this question? Okay, so let me start presentation. So go ahead. What topics were not discussed in the video? Were not discussed. Export-import issues, did they talk about it? They talked about, where the ports and other things are. Modes of transportation, that was our previous question. How the product moves from one stage to the next stage, especially how it is moved from, say, from the trucks into the rails, or from the rails into the barges, and from the barges into the shipping containers. So that was discussed. And ports unloading and unloading is a part of that as well. And global supply chains. Whenever you see the word SC, it's essentially supply chains. And it is a global supply chain, especially for agricultural products, especially for commodities such as corn and soybeans. That means A, B, C, D, F, all of them were discussed. So I think the answer should be what? Let's see that. 18 out of 19 answered. So let us go ahead, close it, and stop answering, and correct answer. Okay, they discussed all of them, but export and import were also mentioned because they are all going from one country to another country. Okay, so maybe you can pay attention to that as well. So anyway, so these are some important, nice things that I want you to pay attention to as part of our introduction to supply chains. Okay, so having said that, it is time for us to get into the PowerPoint presentation. Now, the PowerPoint presentation, you can find this on our Carmen website. So when you go to Carmen, you can download it for your reference, and I have been making some changes here and there. You can download it and keep it on your site in case if you want to. But if you don't want, you can always, refer to what I have got to say. And I'm going to do only one big long presentation for about 3 or 4 classes. And after that, we will keep it simple, okay, for the most part. So don't worry too much. So where do you find the PowerPoint presentation? Go to modules. Under that, you will see the book. And I hope you all downloaded a copy of the textbook. Plus, here is this intro to supply chains. This is the PowerPoint presentation that we are going to do, okay? So here is the PowerPoint presentation. So let us go ahead. Ouch. What did I do? It's doing the other way around. And I don't want to do the 2 thing. I want to move the PowerPoint presentation to the screen. How do I do that? Okay, so it's not working for some reason. I have to move the PowerPoint from one screen to another screen. So let me play it here. Again, it's going to that side. Okay, I have to figure out how to do that. Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe I will share this screen. Wait, if I go into the second screen, I can show that. So are you seeing the second screen without any black color? Are you seeing the full screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. Fine, thank you. There are always technologies there, right? Okay, anyways, so now when you think of your business, okay, whether it is Tiffany's Churro or Amazon's, internet business, whatever it is, I would like to think of it as a system, okay? Now your human body is a type of system, and there are different parts that are doing different things. And I want you to recognize that, that different things that your body can do kind of relate to many things that you would normally study in a business classroom. For instance, many of you will be studying a marketing course. How many of you have taken marketing courses in the past?
I have.
Okay, many of you have taken it, right? That is our course 2231. Sorry, I don't have the pen with me right now, so I have to write with my mouse, so it's kind of a little funny. That is essentially the way how you are taking the goods and giving it to the customers, right? And I would like to think of it as the sensory system in your human body, okay? Where you are hearing what the customer wants and you are trying to provide what they want. And whatever your body kind of communicates with the rest of the outside system, you can think of it as marketing. Finance and accounting, I couldn't find a proper reference, so I just called it as lifeline, because if you don't have cash and if you don't have profits, then there is no business. So it's like a lifeline, right? So I called it as blood. Operations are the way how the things are working, right? For your body to operate, you need a lot of cardiovascular, that is your heart, and your digestive system to be working. Your information technology is like your nervous system, where the signals are being sent, okay, all the way from the hands to the brain, and the brain interprets and then tells the hand what it should do. So it's like a nervous system. Sustainability, that is like the urinary system. Okay, oh, it looks kind of funny, but that's really the truth. In a business, you will be dealing with a lot of waste products, and you have to figure out what to do with the waste products. For instance, if you are dealing with fertilizers, let us say, you moved a lot of fertilizers, you use the fertilizer in the field, now you have a lot of waste materials, the bags and the containers and the pallets. You have to figure out what to do, which is a type of recycling, which is what I would kind of equate it to the urinary system, which is what the body essentially does using the kidneys. And human resources is like essentially your character and personality, right? In your human body, that's kind of a little soft, what you think in your mind and things like that. But then all these different human components are doing different things, and I have equated them to business. Then the question is, what is supply chains? I haven't used the supply chain, which is a part of the business as well, and I haven't mentioned that yet as part of, oops, what did I do? Oh, come on. Okay, so let me redo this. Okay, so hopefully you guys are seeing the second screen, right? Okay, so my question is, what are supply chains? What part of the human body I have missed out so far? What part of human body have I missed out so far?
Respiratory system.
Respiratory system, actually that can be finance and accounting as well. That's a good point. Maybe I should include it somehow, so that I will do that.
Is it would it be the veins?
Veins is a part of your cardiovascular, and I want to think of it as the muscular system. Think about it. What does a boat do for ADM? It essentially moves the product from one place to another place, right? For that, you need muscles, right? You need the skeletal system. You need the strength so that you can move the product from one part of the, say, country or of the world to another part of the world. Similarly, supply chains, purchasing operations, which is what we are focusing on in this course, it is equivalent to your skeletal and muscular systems. And oftentimes when you go and talk to your business owner and ask him, hey, tell me what your business is all about, okay? They will be talking about supply chains pretty much, where they are getting the product and how they are deriving it, where they are storing it, and how they are taking it to the customers, which is essentially the structure of their entire business. Make sense? Now, to make the skeletal and muscular systems move, you do need quite a few other things. You guys get that? So that is an important thing that I want you to pay attention to, okay? So everything is a system and they have to work in coordination with everything. That means for a supply chain to work, you need to have marketing knowledge. You need to have finance and accounting knowledge, operations and information technology. The ADM video already talked about the type of technologies they use. And sustainability, that is how are you going to make sure that your product is not harming the environment, and human resources. So you are taking all these courses to think about business, to understand business, and supply chain is another way to think about your business as well. Essentially, you are looking at the business from a new angle, okay, from a new perspective. That is what this course is all about. So you'll be thinking, oh, I know this, I have already heard this somewhere. That is true because supply chain is already covered in various ways in your other courses. That is what I am trying to tell, okay? So that's an important thing. Having said that, let's go back to Stephanie Churro. Is Stephanie in the class right now?
I am.
Great. So tell me, Stephanie, what is your strategy to reach your customers?
My biggest strategy is the people that I know. My customers are my marketing. So I work in student life and I work with about 6,000 employees. Okay. So they're my biggest marketing piece and strategies to get it out there. And then also I am on a food truck network that will show you in the app where you're located at the time. So if I set up over at the medical center, all of the medical employees know to get on that app to see who's downstairs to see if they want that product.
Okay. Okay, so
that's a huge one that
what is the name of that app, if you don't mind?
It is Food Truck Finder.
Food Truck Finder, okay. Now, I came across this company called Truck Bucks. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
Okay, they are not in Columbus, Ohio yet, but maybe I'll click on that and it will probably take you to
yes, so it's actually called Street Food Finder. So you'll see like Schmidt's Food Truck and different places on there.
So are you seeing
mine isn't posted because I'm not open right now, but yeah, it's just like that. The app is just like that.
Okay, the truck bots, right? Is that what you are seeing right now? I'm sharing the second screen, I think. Okay, now Uber Eats. Do you think there is a potential for you to work with Uber Eats down the road?
Yeah, it just depends on how much their services cost, how much I'm paying them versus just the profit and loss with that.
Exactly.
Since I do offer credit card services, merchant services, the profit and loss isn't there to reach out to like Uber Eats and different places for delivery, just because I already use a merchant service. So that's where that piece of money is going towards.
Yeah, exactly. The question is, do you have to be prepared a little differently when you are using that Street Food Truck Finder versus Uber Eats or Truck Bucks? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it is very different. I know I have a post up in my window that has the Food Truck Finder app to download it, and I always remind my customers that, especially if they're liking it and want to know where I'm at next.
Exactly.
So that's a huge one.
So the point is, if you are going for a particular customer, you need to develop a particular type of supply chain. And you have to think about, as Stephanie just mentioned, you have to pay attention to the profits as well, okay? Because you cannot keep paying Uber Eats separately, DoorDash separately, TruckBus separately, plus one more thing, because then the cost will eat into your profit. So you have to ask yourself, if I were to go after this particular customer through this supply chain, how does it work? So we have to think about all these things because they are relevant and they are important. Make sense? So think about that, and I will quickly get into the supply chain basics. So what is a supply chain? And this is the definition from our textbook that says a supply chain is a network of organizations, which is like your skeletal system, I already told you, and processes wherein a number of various enterprises, suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, and retailers. For instance, in case of Stephanie's Churro, the supplier would be, say, she already mentioned that she goes to Sam's Club. Manufacturer is her food truck, and the distributor right now, she is directly selling it to the customers. But then down the road, she may go into Shark Tank, and she may be able to, say, get some type of develop a brand, and she may be able to kind of make it and start selling it in different retail outlets. There is some store called North Market, right? Stephanie, in Columbus, have you been there?
What is the place called?
North Market, North, North. Did I pronounce it right?
I have not.
Oh, you haven't been there? It
No.
is like a mecca for food, okay? You should go and take a look at that. Lots of ethnic foods that you can find there. I'm sure there will be some places where you can sell your product in bulk through some of the people over there as well. So there can be a distributor and retailer. And how do these people collaborate? That is, how do they cooperate? How do they communicate? How do they exchange information and coordinate with each other to acquire raw materials? In Stephanie's case, it is actually the inputs such as flour and oils and different type of things that you will need to make a food item such as churro. And how do you convert these raw materials into specified final products? And this oftentimes you will study in a course such as operations, okay? In fact, if you look at that, if you look into our book title, it says supply chains and operations management, okay? So what do we mean by operations? How do you convert them from the raw materials into final products, and how do you finally deliver it to the customers? So all the people that are involved, how do they communicate and collaborate, and how do they acquire the raw materials that need to be delivered, and how do you convert the raw materials into your churro, and how finally it reaches the customers within Ohio State. So talking about all these things is what we call supply chain. Make sense? So these are all the important things that I want you to pay attention to as part of your supply chain management course. Okay, so we are kind of at the end of the classroom time, so I'm not going to take any more of your time. So what are the things we have done today? We have seen some examples of supply chains, how Gordon supply chains, what are the important things for them? That is team building, consistency, more business, maintaining a proper fleet with different temperature zones, and speed, quality, and accuracy. These are all important things for them, and that means it is important for their supply chains as well. Similarly, when you talk about, what is that? ADM, they talked about global issues, and then how the things are being moved across all different parts of the world, and the safety and reliability, and how you are having strategic locations. So these are also important supply chain concepts. And we finally finished with a definition of supply chain, where we talked about who are the people that are involved and what do. They communicate, they collaborate, they cooperate with each other. For what? Essentially to get the raw materials, to process it, and take it to the customer. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so these are all the important things that we will be covering, and I thought I will cover 10 slides today, but we are only at say 5 slides, but that's not a big deal. We will do this for the next few days. until we kind of finish this PowerPoint. And by that time, we will have some invited speakers, and we will be asking them, how do you form your supply chains? How do you, manage your fleet? How do you choose your fleet? How do you interact with the customers? How do you interact with your raw material suppliers? How do you enter into contracts? Talking about all these things will also be very relevant, okay? Now, I know that this is the proper lecture that we have had after the introduction from last class, and I promise you that there will be a lot more interactive things that we will be doing in the near future. I will be showing you very interesting software databases to do research on supply chains. In fact, that is what we will be doing on Wednesday, where I will show you how to think of a supply chain for beef, pet foods, or food trucks, and what are the different pieces that combine together so that we will be able to accomplish what we are trying to do, okay? That is, develop a really good supply chain that will be more effective, that we will be able to provide the consistency to our customers and also derive it consistently from our suppliers. So thinking about all these things is what we will do in this course, okay? So that is a long-winded explanation for what we will do in this course. It kind of gave you an idea, and you are able to hear the videos, and you are able to answer the quizzes, and you also gave attendance. Everything great, okay? So before I let you go, just one quick check on my agenda items. Did I cover everything? Most of it, okay? Participation points, you also gave some answers on the quizzes. So you have already seen lots of features that we are doing as part of this course. One last thing before I let you go, please give me some feedback, okay? Because it's important that I get some feedback. And I have already gave you the link, and I will give it to you again. You can just go to this Socrates website and give me some feedback, and you can type, in case if you are not comfortable sharing your name. And if you give me that feedback, it will really help me guide it. Given the distance, I really need it, okay? That's the one last thing that I'm trying to ask from you. Having said that, we are out of time, and thanks for being there. I will see you on Wednesday, and we will be doing a lot more items on Wednesday, okay? Looking at databases to do research on supply chains. And that's pretty much it. And you are all welcome to log out right now, okay? Thank you, and think of opening your video down the road, okay? Thank you now, bye-bye. Cassidy, Katie, do you have any questions for me?
I was just staying here to talk to you like we talked about on Friday.
Yes.
About my plans.
Okay, so Katie is still logged in. Do you want to wait for her to log out, or I don't know if she's in front of the computer or not right now? Shall I?
It doesn't bother me. I just wanted to tell you that I still haven't gotten an email back from Kim Hostetler, so I'm pretty much just still waiting.
Okay, it was a weekend, right? So probably she could not get that thing done. So let us wait for a couple of more days. And I think you have time. For a moment, I thought you have only one course left altogether, but then you do have more than one course, because you are doing 4 courses this semester. After this, you have 1 course left, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so you have a long ways to go. So don't worry about that. We will talk about when you want to focus, when you want to make this official moving to Columbus campus. And we can do that. I think you should talk to Kate Hunko on that. Make sense?
Yeah, she's supposed to let me know when all this stuff is available, and then I'm supposed to fill it all out. So.
Yeah, please continue to do that, and we will go from there.
Okay.
Okay. Now, one quick question. Did the audio come through very well or not?
Yeah, it went through fine. The only thing is when other people talked, it was a little echoey, but other than that, like you could hear everything completely fine.
Okay, maybe the echo is probably because of my audio, I think. I don't know, what's the right setting, but I will think about that and we will try to make some progress. Okay, but other than that, everything came well. You were able to see the visuals, you were able to see the subtitles and whenever they were there.
Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. I will see you on Wednesday then.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, Case. Do you hear me? Case? Do you hear me, Case?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do one thing. I have to re-record again. So I'm going to close this and then restart the same thing. So please come back in another minute or two. Make sense?
Yep. All right.
Okay, thanks.